What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/EntitledParents.
This story's called, "My entitled aunt thinks I work at a store I worked at 4 years ago and demands a discount." Okay, first off, my aunt is a real bench. She uses our family for her gain and gives zero Fs about anyone but herself and her image, and her friends. She will only talk to us if we have something that she wants. She lives in one of the most expensive parts of Sacramento, while our immediate family all lives and has lived in the same area nearly all my mom and aunt's entire lives. She's very entitled and thinks highly of herself. She and her husband and children are the type of people who are always keeping up with the Joneses. She has to be admired and loved from strangers. She scams money out of whoever she can, especially my grandma, which is how she's able to live in such an expensive area and claim back issues and not work. Or she'll work and immediately quit if someone doesn't like her. She smokes weed and hangs out all day while her husband gets drunk and acts like a schlong. With that out of the way, let me tell you what happened Friday afternoon. I'm the semi-black sheep of the family. I'm not mean, I'm not rude, I don't talk crap, nor do I socialize much with my family because I know they don't really like having me around. So, no one ever calls or talks about me in regards of how I am or what I'm doing, which is usually nothing. So, I was surprised to get a phone call from my aunt, the entitled Punt. I don't know the number, didn't know at the time how she got my number, but I was waiting on a call from my doctor, so I answered without a second thought. So I answer, hoping it's my doctor, but I hear my aunt's voice. She and I have never been close. I don't like her. I don't think I've ever liked her. I burned myself as a child because she wouldn't let me have a bath since she was entertaining her friends and getting high. So I went and made myself a bath and burned most of the skin on my legs, thighs, and butt off. That's how much I hated her. And her daughter would steal my dolls, toys, whatever she could get her hands on, and she never gave them back, nor would anyone believe me when I'd find myself destroyed at their house. Anyway, I answered, and I am extremely confused when I hear the Punt's voice. She tries to sound all sweet and nice. "Hey, how you doing? Grandma says you're sick." Yeah, I am. I absolutely hate talking, especially to a Punt on the phone. "Okay." She's quiet before she gets to the point as to why she's calling me. The one niece she hasn't or couldn't steal or con from. "Well, you still work at Party Town, right? My grandson needs a costume for Halloween. I want a discount, or you can sneak one out for me." I kinda just sat there thinking, is this bimbo serious? Did she really just say that? Did she ask me for something I cannot do even if I wanted to, without asking nicely with a please? And did she not know what day it was? The store would be packed to hell with parents who couldn't make more time to get a Halloween costume 6 days before Halloween. What? Are you high? I don't work there. I worked there 4 years ago for like 2 months. Who said I worked there? And why would you think I'd give you a discount or steal for you of all people? I was annoyed to hell and back by being told what someone tells me I'm going to do. And it's a week before Halloween. There's no costumes left. My aunt let out this weird "ugh" sound and starts saying something like, "Don't be selfish. Your thieving cousin needs a costume for her son. He's only 3 years old. Are you really gonna be a jerk and not get him a costume?" After her little rage, all I can do is laugh. I had taken some pain meds for my knee, so I'm kinda like loopy and tired and thinking I'm dreaming, and all I do is laugh. I could hear my sticky-fingered cousin chime in, calling me a selfish bimbo and how she's going to get me fired for stealing. Somehow, they came up with the idea that I steal costumes for my teenage nephews at a job I don't work at. Because my grandma told them I worked there once, 4 years ago, during Halloween. She and my cousin are still yelling at me on the phone until I stop laughing. My eyes are closed and I'm on the edge of sleep, and I tell them, "I don't work there. I haven't worked there in 4 years. I was working with my mom until 2 years ago, you stupid benches." Gosh darn. You guys can't stop coming up with scams and schemes long enough to get facts straight before you call and harass people? You don't listen to grandma tell you about us when you come down asking for money? Step off, you ingrates. That's all I remembered before I passed out. I woke up Saturday morning with a stiff leg and missed calls and texts from my grandma and aunt. My grandma was apologizing and said she set my aunt straight. But an hour later, my aunt calls and said, "You can get grandma to lie for you, but I know you're a selfish bimbo like your mom and won't even help out your family." I just listened to her, tired as frick, trying to stretch my leg and let her go on. "I'm gonna be in later today for my grandson's costume, and it better be half off or free." Yeah, I would love to see that. But even if I could stand a walk or be in public, I don't care enough to watch her humiliate herself or try and belittle seasonal employees. And the bench didn't even tell me what costume she was looking for anyway. If I worked there, was I just supposed to grab any toddler costume for her punk booty? I feel bad for the kid, but my aunt is such a freaking jerk, and she's hurt my grandma too much for me to even consider helping her or my cousins. I'm insanely thankful that, at least in my experience, how people act with me, I don't have anyone in my family at all like this. But I can imagine how tiring it would be to deal with people like that, especially if they're in your family. But, you guys are champs if you have to deal with that. And if you do have to deal with family like that, then let us know in the comments below. I'm interested in hearing about it. This story is called Entitled Mother Ruins Our School's Halloween Fundraiser. Here's the cast. Entitled Mother. Entitled Kid. Me. Girl from class. Okay, so lately, in preparation for Halloween, our school is selling these little packages of a pencil, eraser, and a sticker that you can give to your friends with a little note on them. It isn't too appealing for the higher grades, but a lot of little kids want them. They're $1 each, and being part of my school's student council, I volunteered to sell them a few days. Basically, selling is going as usual. Every once in a while, a kid comes up and buys one. So we work hard by getting them to the correct class, organizing them, etc. What happens is, when the lower grades come out, we suddenly get a ton of customers lining up, so we open multiple counters for selling, with 3 people in each. I'm mainly in the corner helping record profits, etc. when a kindergartner or a first grader comes up to us and asks to buy. Now, I'm normally not the best with kids, so I ask a girl from my class, the only other person from my class there, to deal with them. The conversation sort of goes like this. "Hi, would you like to buy?" "Yes, I want to buy one for all my friends." "Okay, how much money do you have?" "I have no money." "I'm sorry, but you need money to buy. Maybe you can ask your mom or dad when they come?" Now, after this, the kid seems to leave to call his mom or something, but then his eye catches on the register where I'm keeping the money. Until now, I'm kind of oblivious to the conversation. I mean, I can hear it and all, but I'm not really participating. Then, Entitled Kid comes and asks, "Is that a $20 note?" Me, being sort of startled and not paying attention, yeah. "Can I have it?" No. So he didn't hear me say no or thought I said yes. He just freaking grabs the note from the counter, literally ripping it out of the fork thing that's used to hold them straight down. I'm at first startled and reply with, "Can I have that back, please? It's our money and you're not allowed to have it." "Sorry, kid, but I need that back. This isn't a game." At this point, he just starts thinking it's a game or something and starts running away from me. Now, since he's a kindergartner, he has relatively small legs, and at the speed he's going, he's bound to collapse. And then, bam! That's exactly what happened. I yanked the $20 note from him, who is now fallen down, and he bursts into tears and starts screaming his head off, either because he lost the money or he got hurt from the fall, or maybe even both. And though I'm not the best with kids, I pull him back up and ask if he's okay. He's crying his head off and points to his knee. So I roll up his trouser and it's legit not even scratched. I tell him he's fine. At this point, I just let him go and return to selling. Friend 1 says she'll deal with him and takes care of him, she having seen the whole incident and also chasing him. Then, Entitled Mother approaches, with her kid close in hand. The kid points at me and Friend 1. Entitled Mother gives me a death stare and stomps over to me, asking, "Oh, why did you steal money from my son? You have no right to do that." "Ma'am, I apologize, but we didn't steal money from him. He had no money and tried stealing our $20 note." Impossible! My son would never do such a thing. He has such great morals. Whatever you say, ma'am, but I'm just telling you what happened. And I'm telling you what's right. Return me that $20 note right now or I will dissolve your council. I'm part of the Parents Association. Ma'am, the Parents Association has no power over us. We are operated by the students and faculty of the school. Stop calling me ma'am and return that note! Literally trying to yank the entire freaking register, and friend resists. Friend 1 is now in tears because she's sensitive. Please stop, please just stop. I'm now getting mad. Listen, miss, leave us alone. We do not owe you anything and stop harassing us and trying to steal from us. We will not be giving you anything. Understand? I will not take orders from you, young man. Call a teacher right now. The racket gets the attention of the council supervisor, who has a talk with her. Basically, the same talk is repeated, except this time, the supervisor gets mad and shouts at her, threatening to get her kicked off the Parents Association. She threatens to take her child out of the school that takes advantage of people's money. The supervisor tells her to go ahead. She shuts up. Yes, victory. A pretty crazy and unusual day, to be honest. Poor friend 1 was completely spooked after that, just in time for Halloween. First of all, shout out to friend 1 for being that sweet, sensitive honey she be. I'm kidding, of course. And what would be the opposite of a shout out? Like a whisper in? Whisper in to the entitled mother because she's crazy and rude. The kid, can't really hate on the kid too much. He's probably just farting around. But then again, he's, kindergarten? You probably know not to steal money at that age, right? Well, then again, he probably didn't because the mother was trying to steal as well. Because I feel like if a kindergartner has $20, the parents usually know about it, because where are they gonna get it? This story is called Speak English or Green Tea Fresh Orange. Background. I'm severely hard of hearing, but consider myself deaf. When your hearing is that shot, you might as well be. I also operate a very small local deaf meetup group in my local area, which includes a hearing person, one of my roommates, who just seems to enjoy hanging out with us, and we're fine with that. When with the group, I don't wear my hearing aids, as that roommate is usually fine with handling things if and when hearing is needed. He's a trooper. At this particular meetup, which happened this morning at Shoney's for their breakfast, we came across an entitled parent. The story. Everyone was seated, casually nomming their favorite breakfast items from the breakfast bar at Shoney's, everyone signing and giggling back and forth with one another and enjoying our time together. But we did notice a kid that was nearby bugging my roommate about something. I wouldn't know what's being said until after we arrived home after the meetup, and we'll include the conversational bits where relevant. Why aren't any of you talking? I can talk. They're deaf and can't hear speech, so we use sign language to talk. That's cool! Kid runs off and roommate didn't think anything more of it. It's not uncommon for someone to ask about sign language here or there, or ask us how to say something, or get advice on where they can learn the language. Lifeprint.com if you are personally interested. It's free and is where we typically send folks. Sounds like nothing spectacular so far, I know. But it wasn't until we were ending our little meetup and start saying our goodbyes when the kid's mother approaches our table. Again, the deafies are just thinking yet another person with a sign language question. The hearie can handle it. Apparently, the kid's mom was so offended that we weren't speaking vocally that she intended to make her stupid opinion known. You need to stop doing that hand signal stuff and speak English. It's very rude. I'm sorry, what? These guys are deaf, so... Entitled mother cuts him off. I don't care if they're deaf. They can speak English like everyone else in America. No, they can't. Literally, 2 of these people were born completely deaf. They don't know what English even remotely sounds like. It's not my fault that they're intellectually disabled. They should still speak English. And you too. Stop messing about with your hands. It's very rude. It's very rude to insist people with a disability to cater to your sensibilities. And honestly, I wish I were deaf myself, so I wouldn't have to hear the screeching of a heartless bench with less than 2 brain cells to rub together. You can't speak like that around children. She ends up huffing and running off. At this point though, she's gotten the attention of everyone at our meetup. We were all thinking that was the end of it, and the roommate signed to us, telling us, "Crazy lady thinks we're throwing gang signs and other stupid stuff. Everything's fine." Well, turns out, entitled mother ended up getting the manager demanding we be kicked out. So enter manager, stage left. Manager arrives at the table with entitled mother and the poor kid in tow. Entitled mother looking smug like she just accomplished something huge. I've got a complaint that your entire party has been rude and cussing. The manager notices sign language being used and asks the entitled mother, "Ma'am, do you know what they're saying?" "No, not at all. They're not speaking English, which is very rude. We're American, in America we speak English." Roommate swears this is what she said. And since we do live in the sticks, I wouldn't put it past that someone would say something like this. "Ma'am, we can't kick people out for not speaking English." "But they're insulting me and my kid, just look at them." At this point, it's worth noting that when we're discussing something or someone, if the object of discussion is available, they're pointed at. At no point in our discussion did we point at the entitled mother nor her kid. What we were talking about was various subjects from cats to the gal we got recently invited from Walmart, talking about wanting to get a fish tank and a small fighter beta and other places they'd like to go for the next meetup. So nothing involving the entitled parent nor her kid. Roommate points to one of us. "Actually, she's talking about getting a fish tank and getting a beta fish." Points to me. "He's getting information on where the next meetup might take place." Points to the black guy. "He's talking about a kitten he recently adopted." Points to the entitled mother. "And she's being rude, insisting deaf people need to stop using sign language to accommodate her stupid sensibilities." The manager surprisingly signs to the group asking if we found everything to our liking. We all practically say yes to some degree. Yes, okay, etc. different signs. The manager proceeds to inform the entitled mother that she'll need to leave us alone or he will have to ask her to leave. She apparently continued to complain about how we continued to sign after all this and was asked to leave. She did, and apparently screamed how she's never coming back. The manager gave us 10% off our bills, except the roommate who dealt with the brunt of it, who got his meal for free. This story's called Entitled 6th Grade English Teacher Wants Me Not to Watch Dragon Ball Z at Home Because She Says Goku's a Bad Influence. Little backstory. I am a fan of Dragon Ball Z. I watched the anime and have also played a couple of the games. But anyways, on to the story. I was looking for a wallpaper of Goku to use as my wallpaper. The teacher comes up behind me and asks what I'm looking at. I tell her I was looking for a wallpaper featuring Goku. This is where the fun begins. "Do your parents allow you to watch Dragon Ball Z?" "Yes." "Oh, P, it sounds like your parents aren't raising you right." "Why do you say that?" "Dragon Ball Z is a bad show for children to sit and watch unsupervised. I would never let my children watch that. I would rather them watch Family Guy unsupervised than let them watch Dragon Ball Z." I view Goku as a better character than Stewie. "Oh, P, Goku is a bad influence on children. Dragon Ball Z teaches children that violence is always the answer. But it's not. I don't care. For all I care is that Dragon Ball Z is a bad show for children." She eventually tells my parents over the phone about it and tells them I need to be supervised while watching TV, all because I have a bad taste of shows. My parents got a laugh out of it. Years later, I'm still watching Dragon Ball. Oh, honey, if you think Dragon Ball Z is bad, you need to watch Dragon Ball, okay? That show is perverted as heck. But I'm not saying it's bad because, honestly, I think I might like Dragon Ball more than Z because, I don't know, the writing's better. And, Yamcha and Krillin, they weren't as useless. But don't get me wrong, Dragon Ball Z is amazing. And if you'd watch the show, you would know that Goku does enjoy fighting, but not necessarily violence, you know what I mean? He always gives his enemies a chance to redeem themselves, no matter what they've done, he still gives them a chance to just walk away. Yes, he enjoys fighting, but that doesn't mean he's bad, okay? Anyways, my completely 100% correct point is that Dragon Ball, the franchise, is amazing. I don't care if you don't like GT. I don't care if you don't like Super, okay? Dragon Ball in general is amazing. You can't change that, okay? Goku, amazing character, one of the best influences in the entire world. I guarantee you there is not one Dragon Ball fan out there that has not gotten such a huge, freaking fitness inspiration boost thing after watching it, because those guys are jacked and they train hard and they work hard. I just love it. I'm gushing. I'm sorry. I'm stopping now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.